here at Frank Taylor & Associates, we've been in the dental profession for over 35 years. And in that time, we've helped dentists start, build, expand and exit practices. This has given us the unique viewpoint of being able to gauge the true sentiment of the profession across the board. So over the past year, we couldn't ignore the voices that we were hearing. So you talked and we listened. We've talked to over 250 dentists across the profession, including newly qualified dentists to key opinion leaders to multiple practice owners, giving us the widest spectrum of answers that we could have hoped for. However, in these results, there are a few clear themes. Let's get into it. Starting with the sector as a whole, dentistry is a great profession and one that should be allowed to thrive, there's no doubt about that. But with 70% of dental professionals agreeing that the level of optimism profession-wide is still high, it shows that even with the turmoil of the past few years, it's still a profession that's on the way up. And there's many individuals that want to raise it up to the top of the agenda.
I think the level of optimism is high. I mean, every dentist wants to do good dentistry. They want to look after their patients in the best way. And ultimately, in doing that, they are very optimistic, but the NHS by default is an area that is more challenging vis-a-vis the private route. So I think they should be very optimistic that dentistry is a good, solid industry for them to get into. It's a good, solid industry in all its facets, whether it is in the corporate environment or whether it is in the individual practice level.
It's one of them jobs, and I think one of few jobs in the world where if you want to earn more, you just work harder and you earn more. We're not fixed salary, most of us. I think people really enjoy still being dentists. I think it's, as an associate at the moment, it's a good life. We go through phases where it's a principal's world or an associate's world. Right now, with all the expenses a principal has running a clinic, with salaries, etc., I think it is definitely an associate's world at the moment.
However, no profession is perfect, and improvements can always be made.
Dentists are naturally high achievers and we want to be providing quality dentistry. The difficulty in the NHS and the NHS realms is financially it's not possible to provide sometimes comprehensive care, and also the time constraints we have as NHS dentists, it's very difficult. I do think also the problem is there's a big culture in Britain, and the NHS, as they say, is the jewel in the crown, and I think it's run its course now and it's difficult sometimes to change that culture, but we need to change it.
The current NHS contracts, I feel many dentists are unhappy with this. I mean, I wasn't in the UK when the previous contract was in place, so I've heard about it, I know what it looked like, but all I can say now is definitely the contract that we have is definitely not suitable. It can definitely be improved because many dentists are unhappy with this. Having to work, just and being remunerated just according to the unit of activities that you do, that's not the best way to go around it. And as I say, coming from Italy, I do have sort of this comparison. So where I'm from, we don't have we don't have NHS dentistry, so it's more of a private-based, insurance-based system there, and I feel like things flow better there, things work better there. We're not pressured to just work and deliver, because at the end of the month you need to commit to a certain amount of UDAs rather than another.
Whilst we truly believe that being a dentist is an amazing career path, we also acknowledge that many associates want to take the leap into practice ownership, giving them the security and more of a stable income, but also take on many of the challenges that running your own business can have. With over 61% of the dental professionals that we asked saying that they still have an ambition to be or become a practice owner, and only 4% said they didn't see practice ownership at all in their future, goes to show that this is still a target that's being pursued each and every day.
I think the will to be a practice owner is probably at an all-time high. I feel like so many people that I talk to, and maybe it's even more so with me because I set up my squat so recently, so it's those dentists who are looking to set up their own squat that are kind of coming to me and being like, oh, you made that shift from associate to principal, how was it, should I do it? Actually, I shouldn't say it's an all-time high because I don't know what it was like before. People weren't talking to me about it before, but I wasn't a principal before. But since being a principal, it's definitely something that dentists talk to me about all the time. I would say majority of dentists have an aspiration to become a principal one day. I do
think there is still that ambition. Maybe because in my small circle, I'm actually surrounded by people that are more of like entrepreneurs and then looking forward. So I do have loads of friends that have actually recently opened dental practices, which is amazing. But at the same time, I would say chatting, generally speaking on a general scale, people are scared to open up a dental practice. They feel there's a lot of challenges associated with that, with managing the team, maybe things like CQC, a lot of inspections, a lot of things that need to be ticked off the box, and people feel they can't be bothered with that.
But even if the end goal is there, ready and waiting, what are considered the key characteristics that would put you on the path of being the best dentist that you can be?
The best dentists I've ever known and seen in a profession who have been successful have great communication skills. It's not actually the clinical dentistry. I always say this, I don't believe I am the best dentist in the world, but I know to my patients, I'm the best dentist in the world. In their eyes, they believe I am the best dentist in the world. And that's what we should always aspire to be, is, the human, let's look after them and let's try and be their best dentist. So adapt with the patient and adapt with the times.
I think a key non-negotiable characteristic to have, not just in dentistry but in anything in life, is to approach things with real energy and passion. Life is tough, everything that we do is difficult, nothing comes easy, but approaching it with a mindset where you're quite optimistic and willing to work hard, but in a positive way. You're not grinding yourself down. It's always going to set you up in a good way.
To get to the point where you walk across the stage, shake the dean's hand, and finally get to update all of your details to say doctor, you have to already be incredibly driven and already understand the work that it takes to get what you want out of life. However, for many, this is only where the true work starts.
The biggest difficulties running a dental practice at the current time is the cost of living at the moment has made it difficult, because dental practices are no longer run by a single dentist. It's run by a team. If you look at the ratio of team members to actual dentists, it's disproportionate. We've got over 100 team members and we've got 25 dentists. So, you see that's 4 times. I think the difficulties we're having at the moment is the cost of living and keeping team present.
I think as dentists, we're all, again, super ambitious people. Not just practice owners, but associates as well. And when people are extremely ambitious, it makes it even harder to manage them.
With emerging technologies over the past few years, such as digital scanners and 3D printers, as well as new technology that's yet to truly be harnessed, like AI, it seems like it's never been easier to deliver quality service and treatments to your patients. This is the sentiment, with over 68% of dentists being excited about the new technology in the future.
Well, this is an exciting time for dentistry, enhancing the new technology. We are introducing scanners of all different kinds into the business. As an ex-dental technician, it's quite surreal to see some of the development that is going on, and it doesn't just stop there. That's the scanners that are in the surgeries. What we're looking at is then to bring 3D printing into our practices as well. There is so many facets of digital dentistry that is super exciting for everybody involved, and it's a thing that I think that everybody will win on.
I'm extremely optimistic and excited for what technology is going to bring to the profession. I think that, as we mentioned before, there's a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of time allocated on things which are quite boring, quite dull, and not really what we signed up for. So with the advent of technology, I think we're quite at the forefront of that, and that's why I'm particularly excited, because I've seen what we're building and what we could build towards.
Over the past few years, work-life balance has been a hot topic worldwide, with many wanting to reduce their working hours and have more time to develop themselves. This seems to be no different in dentistry, with over 55% of those asked agreeing that a 4-day work week would be ideal, and a further 38% wanting to work 3 days or less.
I think the ultimate work-life balance is something that you will always work towards. I don't think you'll ever get it from the beginning. I can remember times where I was writing a paper at 1 a.m. So I was in the middle of the night finishing an article so that it got submitted for a peer-reviewed publication. We all go through that phase. I think there's a graph phase in our lives. But for me, currently I work 4 days clinically, 1 day based for lecturing. I think that's still probably too work heavy. I think the ideal situation for me would be 2 to 3 days clinical, one day working on the business rather than in the business, perhaps one day to do lecturing and one day just purely free.
Running a practice is different. So I'm telling you, I work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I'm thinking about it when I'm, picking up my kids from school. But I love to do these things. So I drop my little boy to nursery, and I do the pickup twice a week. I love doing these sorts of things because I feel like, I need to do these things.
It was brilliant to hear that overwhelmingly, over 70% of dentists said that they still choose dentistry as their chosen profession.
So if I could go back and talk to Marina choosing her degree, 16-year-old Marina choosing her A-levels, I'm so glad I made this choice to do dentistry. How awesome. I wanted to be an actress. I was doing theatre studies, maths and history at A-level because I was going to be this famous actress. And my headmistress called me aside and said, you're very good at art, but you're also very good at science. And did you know you could combine the two in dentistry? I can always be that associate dentist, that cosmetic dentist who works 3 days a week on her 6-figure salary. I can always be that woman. I know how to be her, and I've been her for 21 years. If I didn't try and do this, if I didn't come away and build this, I think I would have regretted it. And especially now, having done it and seeing how much of me it took to do it, I think doing it any later would have been really difficult.
If I was speaking to myself as a student, I think ultimately I wouldn't change any of the advice because I'm so grateful for this honestly tremendous profession that we're part of. We have so many opportunities to change people's lives. We have so many opportunities to engage with our professionals. We have, for some of us, we're very fortunate. We get to travel with our work. I mean, it's just an absolutely sensational career pathway to be part of.
When I was younger, obviously you want to earn all the money in the world, okay, yeah, and you want to be like top of your game and everything, and everyone will respect you and appreciate it. Now I think it's about time, but with time, naturally money will come, and stuff. You can think, you can step back and you can reflect, and I think that's something I'm learning now. So I think I'm in between, in the sense that I'd love to earn more money, who wouldn't, and stuff, yeah, but it makes sense to years pass by. But I think if you have more time to reflect, then you can make more money.
As I said in the beginning, you talked and we listened. So you've seen all the data, and now you have the true sentiment of the profession.
Super exciting time, and I think anybody that's not getting on that bandwagon will be seriously at a disadvantage, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm so glad I made this choice to do dentistry. How awesome.
I think people really enjoy still being dentists.
I do think there is still that ambition
To have, not just in dentistry, but in anything in life, is to approach things with real energy and passion.
I mean, it's just an absolutely sensational career pathway to be part of.
I think dentistry is an amazing profession. We can do some amazing things, and it's just about changing that culture